before doing the same thing. The feeling of already having experienced the present situation. It's weird. Perhaps it's just some sort of weird human phenomena that lacks an explanation, but maybe it's a sign or a signal that somewhere,
there is infinite amounts of universes.
A similar situation already happened
Humans
to
are
the
dumb.
other you. This deja vu story reflects that quite well, as this person tells a story of a time that their deja vu
there is aliens out there, there is other dimensions,
on Reddit wrote in response to a prompt,
there is much more what humans don't know.
Quote, I saw a Prius on the shoulder
humans
of the
are
State
dumb.
Parkway. For some reason I had a memory of a Prius all of a sudden darting into traffic. As a precaution, I moved over a lane, and sure enough, the idiot floors it into traffic without looking right where
I swear to God, humans are dumb.
Maybe this again is just a weird human phenomena, but maybe it's a sign of something else.
It's parallel universe, you dumb human.
We have the bird. This story comes from someone who saw something weird, and it
humans
wasn't
are so dumb.
or anything like that. They saw it right in front of them as they were directly looking at it, and as of now, there doesn't really seem to be any sort of concrete explanation as to how this could have happened. They wrote, quote, I was standing outside work having a smoke. I was looking at the bike rack and thinking about how silly it was they just placed one there and didn't bolt it down or anything. Then a bird footprint showed up. Just one footprint. Like a ghost bird put just 1 foot down in the middle of the otherwise undisturbed snow.
Parallel universes are real.
Exactly where it happened,
but you guys just don't know that yet.
Most likely
it's human race.
To collapse in that shape, but still, it was strange. Maybe the snow just collapsed, maybe it was a ghost bird, or maybe it has more to do with another universe colliding with ours. Whatever the answer really is, this story kind of gives me the chills. Maybe the birds aren't the bourgeoisie and they can just jump timelines, and that's why they're so suspicious. In our number 8 spot today, we have the ice cream stain. This is a strange story that someone posted online about a weird glitch in the Matrix type thing that happened to them, and it just might be an example of someone who jumped realities. They wrote, quote, I spilled chocolate ice cream on my leg. I wiped it off, and there was still a pale brown stain in the shape of the ice cream splotch. I told my mother, who said it was a birthmark. I will swear under oath that never before that moment did I have a birthmark there. Does anyone else have any weird stories like this? It's easy for us to chalk these things up to just having a wild childhood imagination, but that's also because it's an easy explanation. Maybe it's time we start asking ourselves the harder, more interesting questions. I feel like someone would remember having a birthmark, right? In our number 7 spot today, we have the randomness. Okay, when looking for signs or signals from other universes, sometimes we have to look in the most peculiar places, and that includes some of the strange things that happen in our reality. Bizarre, seemingly random things happen here all the time, and maybe it's because we live in a weird world, or maybe it's a sign that since the idea of parallel universes means that there's a universe where basically every random thing you can think of is a reality, we just live in a universe where some of those random things are bound to happen. Like, who would have guessed that Napoleon would almost be taken out by a bunch of bunnies? Or like how people can survive the seemingly impossible, like a fall out of an airplane at over 30,000 feet without a parachute. You know, just things you hear that you can't believe. I'm sure many of you watching this have seen a video on this channel at some point that had someone say something that made you go, really? And that's what I'm talking about. Maybe this isn't the best evidence of parallel universes, but hey, everything counts. In our number 6 spot today, we have the conversation. This is a story that comes from someone who seems to have a sort of unusual talent, we'll call it. Maybe they're just super smart, maybe they can see the future, or maybe something else is going on here. They start by explaining that they have dreams about people or places they've never seen before, and then, without fail, a few months later, they'll be with the people or in the place that they had dreamt about. They also have this ability to sing a random song while another one is playing on the radio, and then somehow, like magic, the next song that plays is the one they were just singing. They then go on to say, quote, one super weird thing, though, happened in about 2012-ish. I was 19 and living at home with my parents and younger sister still. I came home from work from my job at a barbecue place, and my sister says to me, oh, I thought you were off today. I'm confused because I left at 5 a.m. before anyone was awake, and I ask her, when did I say that? She says to me, like 2 hours ago in your room. She thinks...
Let's pause it. Head home, I guess. Wake up in the morning, head to school, yo. Great. It's another day of human high school. I'm a god. I shouldn't be going to human school. But our family got chased out of our place from the god of war. You know that, you know what I mean. So we had no choice but to leave, yo. Like you seen in the first episode of this documentary. Five in the morning. Good morning, bro. Ready to go to school? Yeah, I'm ready. Cool. Let's go. I'm going to hang out with my friends at school after class at break. Okay, bro. I guess I'll see you at school. Here we are at the school. See you, bro. See ya. Let's head to class. Head to buddy class, yo. First class for day should be good morning, class. Class dismissed. My second class for day should be Good morning, class. Class dismissed. Good morning, class. Okay, class dismissed. Have fun at break. Cool, it's break time. Let's go downstairs and chill in the oval somewhere. On the outside of the school con. Press play.
Thinks I'm screwing with
Have
her
a joint
to
for
smell
day.
me because you can smell the barbecue sauce and smoke on me. Then she gets really creeped out and tells me she had went into my room earlier and saw me in bed with covers up to my neck and had a 15-minute conversation with me. That really creeped me out and I never felt comfortable in that room ever again. This actually would be really, really weird to experience for everyone involved. Maybe this was just a weird glitch in the Matrix, or maybe something else was at play here. Whatever it is, it seems like this person has a lot of weird things happening around them. In our number 5 spot today, we have black holes. Black holes are some of the most mysterious, mystifying, and terrifying things that exist out there in the ether. They can be super small or massively large, and they are extremely
Black holes
dense.
lead
The gravity is
to
so
other
strong that
dimensions,
absolutely
you
nothing can
stupid
escape, and that
human.
is exactly why. I mean, coupled with the fact that one of these will turn you into spaghetti if you get too close, but that's why we know little to nothing about what lurks
No,
on the
it
inside.
doesn't.
Hear me out, especially if you've seen Interstellar, great movie by the way, Matthew
Teleports
McConaughey
you
is
to
so good in
another
it.
dimension.
What if black holes somehow connect us to other universes? I know it sounds insane and kind of like a silly
That's
idea,
true.
but in the end, if other universes
But humans
exist and they
won't
run parallel to
know.
ours, then there really is no idea too wild or crazy, because that's one of the most insane things I can possibly think of. In our number 4 spot today, we have The Hand. This is a story from someone who just might have seen a hand reach from another universe into ours. Maybe it's all just a glitch in the system, but it's an eerie story nonetheless.
We're not
They wrote,
within the
quote, "I was putting
simulation, you
makeup
dumb
on, and from the
bitch.
corner of my eye, I saw what looked like the
Otherwise,
shadow of a hand
gods
slap
wouldn't
down onto
exist.
my nightstand. Would have dismissed it as my brain playing tricks on me or something, but I heard it too, and it sounded like a really loud smack. It was weird, but I've experienced so many
You
small,
dumb fucking
unusual
whole
incidents
bitch.
like this, things randomly falling
Huh.
or shaking, so I guess I've become apathetic to it. That was the first time I ever actually heard the thing too, though. Not only would that be pretty terrifying, but also so confusing. You wouldn't trust your mind no matter what it was telling you. You know what you saw and heard, but could it possibly be true? Maybe there's a reasonable explanation, maybe it's whoever's in charge of the simulation, and maybe it has something to do with another universe. At this point, anything is possible. In our number 3 spot today, we have space signals. There are tons and tons of signals that we detect from space every single year. Some we understand and can figure out where they're coming from and what is causing them, and some others aren't quite so clear and have stumped researchers for years. Some believe that these mysterious, unexplained
They are
signals
from
are coming from
aliens.
extraterrestrials. Perhaps the
Trust me,
signals we
the
are
aliens are
receiving
trying
is
to
from some
contact
sort
you,
of
but you're
space
too stupid
situation
to
that we just don't
realize
know
it.
about yet because it doesn't occur close to us here on Earth. The possibilities really are endless when we're talking about the ever-expanding universe and
You're
the
just too
unexplained
dumb
things that
and
exist
stupid
within
to
it.
human
And that is
beings.
why, just perhaps, these signals could mean something else. Maybe in another universe we are well aware of the other universes that exist parallel to that one, and we are trying to communicate with the one that we live in. Maybe the signals are being sent through black holes. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little far-fetched, but really, anything could happen. In our number 2 spot today, we have the time jump. This is a story about a location that has some weird sort of time jump. At first, everyone thought the person experiencing it was playing some kind of a prank, until others experienced it for themselves as well. They wrote, quote, "Had a friend who was convinced something was wrong with the area between the nearby town and his home. Or maybe it was his car. He claimed that many times he'd leave work and somehow be home 5 minutes later when it was a 15 to 20-minute drive. It was crazy. He wasn't the only one who experienced it either. Happened to a few friends that rode with him. Definitely weird stuff. I mean, listen, I hate commuting, so I wouldn't be upset by this sort of a glitch, but I would definitely be confused. I'm glad other people got to experience the weirdness of the situation too. I wonder if it had something to do with just his car and the area, because you'd think other people who drove the same roads would notice the same thing too. Right? In our number 1 spot today, we have the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect began being widely recognized when people began to swear that they could remember Nelson Mandela passing away in the 1980s. This is of course weird since he actually passed away in 2013. That's a huge time discrepancy, so people were very confused. This of course is how it got the name the Mandela effect, and basically there are 2 main ideas behind this theory. One is that whoever is responsible for the simulation we live in has gone back and changed some things, and the other theory applies to us in our video today, and it's the idea that in a parallel universe the things we remember happened, but then somehow we jumped into this timeline in which things happened similarly but slightly differently. Other really famous cases of the Mandela effect are the Bernstein Bears, where some people swear it used to be spelled with the ending being S-T-E-I-N, while all copies now are spelled with Stain. Or the popular peanut brand called Jif, there are people who swear it used to be called Jiffy.
Huh.
The list just goes on. There are tons and tons of examples of the Mandela effect, and I think most people can relate to at least one, so maybe this really is signifying something bigger going on here. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have a little bit different. One morning in 2008, Lorena woke up in a life that was similar to the one she was living when she went to sleep, but was certainly not the same. At first, it was just things like her bed sheets and pajamas, but when she got to work, things began to escalate. Lorena realized that her office wasn't her office and that she worked in the same building, but in a completely different department. She had never even met her boss before, so she knew this couldn't have been a moment where she just got lost or confused. When she returned home after the workday, she was met by her ex-boyfriend, only to find that he was apparently her current boyfriend. She tried to find the person that she had been dating for months, but he didn't even seem to exist in this new life and world that she now found herself in. Lorena began to seek psychiatric help because she was fearing she was having some sort of nervous breakdown, but all tests revealed that she seemed to be of sound body and mind. The strange occurrences continued when Lorena asked her family how her sister was doing. Lorena knew that her sister had recently had shoulder surgery and wanted to check in, but when she asked her family, they were baffled by her claims and insisted that there was no surgery that had taken place on anyone in the family. Lorena couldn't find any answers to her situation and was having no luck with a medical explanation either. She was convinced that she went to sleep one night and woke up in a parallel universe that was altered slightly by small decisions that she had made. Honestly, I can't really think of anything else that would cause all of these strange occurrences to happen all at once. In our number 9 spot today, we have the dream. This story starts off with the person explaining that a couple times a month when they dream, they head off to another...
Ready, bold to go home? Yeah, I'm ready, cunt. Cool. So back to the house. I guess I'll see you when I'm back at the house, yo. Hey son, how's school? Yeah, how's school, son? It was good, I guess. That's good. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna chill outside with my friend. Oh good. Oh good. Press play. How drawing?
Parallel universe. They say that while in this universe, they're either in their hometown or are in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why, but it's their journey, not mine. They then go on to say that while they know these cities and know where everything is, something about them is just off. Like they're really run-down versions of what they're like here in this universe. The houses and businesses are run down, paint is peeling off the walls, it just generally looks like an abandoned city, even though it's occupied. So, this one particular dream is what got them really confused about this alternate reality. Basically, in this dream, they were living in this one house. They didn't live there in their awake reality, and they had never been there before, but in this particular dream, this is where they lived. They noticed that their house was the only one on the block that had a rear garage. In the end, since they were in this rundown version of the city, they ended up coming into conflict with some bad people who were there, and they found themselves in this alternate reality getting shot. They then woke up with a really bad headache, they took some Advil, and decided to look up the house that they had lived in this dream. When they did, they found that not only was it a real place, but that in this awake reality, it was also the only house on the block that had a rear garage. What do you guys think? Is this just a weird coincidence, or are their dreams taking them to an actual different reality? In our number 8 spot today, we have the doppelganger. This story comes from someone who swears that they saw themselves, like, as if they were another person walking past. They wrote, quote, "I'm from a very dry, hot state in the US and was visiting California on a trip with my wife. While eating out, we both witnessed a person that looked exactly like me. Same typical mid-fade and head dents inherited from my father, same body type. I saw the side profile from the back as they walked away from view, and it was my exact face. My wife had a direct view but could not remember directly what my face looked like, but noted that she was noticing similarities from the body to the head, even the way I walked. Couldn't believe what we saw. Any thoughts? I mean, my thoughts are that maybe this was your other self from a parallel universe, or maybe it was just your twin from right here on Earth. I mean, they say that everyone has one, right? I just can't get past how it doesn't stop at them just looking alike, though. Like, how they act and walk as well. In our number 7 spot today, we have the boss swap. Okay, this story comes from Reddit.
Let's pause it. Good night, bro. Good night. Head to bed. Five in the morning. Good morning, bro. Good morning. My sister at school. Spare bedroom. That's my friend's bedroom. Okay, my other sister's at school. My other brother's at school. This is my mum. And my other sister's at school. My mum, my dad sleep out on the couch. So yeah. While we have rooms, my mum, my dad sleep out on the couch. Like in the human world, you know what I mean. Okay, let's head to school. Matter of fact, don't wanna skip school. Yes, definitely. Cool. Your parents are at work, so yeah. Let's skip school. Yes, fuck school, bro. Where we wanna go? We're doing a go-kart. Anywhere, really. Cool. Let's go chill somewhere. Chill in here. Fair enough, bro. Press play.
And it starts off with the OP giving us a little
Hey,
context
bro.
and telling us that
Yeah,
they
what's
work at a
up?
small processing plant
My
in
friends
Texas,
are
that
working
they're 22
school
years
too.
old, and that they have been working
Is it
there for
okay
about
if
4
I
months
hang
now.
out with them?
At the plant, they usually help the
Sure,
truck drivers
go
with
ahead,
paperwork and
bro.
inspections, and since
Thanks.
most of the offices
I'll
in
cut
the
you
building
later.
have windows,
Yeah, you too,
from their
cuz.
office they can see the production line, and they can see
Have a
clearly
joyful
into their
day.
boss's office and their supervisor's office, which are close together. So basically, one day at work, they hear the bell ring and they go to help the person at the door. They then write, quote, "As I got up, I could clearly see my supervisor working on some bill of landings. I get to the door that leads to the shipping area, the driver lets me know why he is here, and I go back inside, head to my office to get the bills for him, and head outside so he can sign them. As of now, everything is normal, but things are about to take a huge turn. As I walk through the shipping door, I have a clear view of my supervisor. It's very normal for me to hand him the signed bills, and I'm walking towards his office. I can clearly see him working on the BOLs. As I get closer to the door of his office, there's a spot outside of his office where you can't see at all into the inside, and then as I open the door, he wasn't there anymore. Instead, I come to find a lady in her 50s, black hair, and about 5'9". I screamed WTF, and she looks at me in confusion and asks me what's wrong. I explain the situation to her. She seems perplexed by the story, but lets me know that she has been in this office all of the time, that Juan was never my supervisor, and she has been the supervisor for years. Now, I remember clearly when I first started working, Juan was presented as my supervisor. His name was on the door of his office, and him and I were getting along very well. I've asked everyone here at my company, and they have all said the same thing. Rosie has been supervisor for years. I guess I switched universes because now even Juan's name isn't on his door and he barely speaks to me. I truly have no idea what could have happened here, but all I know is that basically having it happen in front of your eyes would have been so confusing. In our number 6 spot today, we have The Sound. This story comes from Reddit, and it starts off with the OP stating that when they were 8 years old, they were in a car accident and they believed that they died. They then go on to write, quote, "There was this sound, a note playing non-stop. It's similar to the sound of the machine when you flatline, but it was more instrumental. I've never forgotten, and when I asked my family, they said we were in an accident, just not in the place I remember. Is it possible to die and cross over to an alternate parallel world? That sound, though, it felt like it was telling me to let go, but I could not."
Miele dishwashers are designed for long-lasting performance, for years and years of perfection.
This story definitely had me intrigued, but what got me hooked even further was the top comment on the post, which read, quote, "Quantum immortality is what people are calling it. Others have experienced this too. You just end up in a slightly different world." Quantum immortality is something that I certainly had never heard of before, but it truly is quite an interesting and fascinating concept. What do you guys think? Is something else, something bigger at play here? In our number 5 spot today, we have Double Moms. This story comes from Reddit, and it actually had my mind boggled when I read it, so I had to include it today too. They wrote, quote, "Back in 2012, I was staying with my mom for the last couple months of my pregnancy. She always left for work at about 7 a.m. and would wake me up while she was getting ready. This particular morning was the same thing. I'd see her out and lock the deadbolt behind her. I went into her room to watch my normal show as usual. I was watching TV at least 30 minutes before I had to use the restroom again. While I'm doing just that, my mom opened the door on me, stared at me for 3 to 4 seconds, and then closed the door. Within the time it took me to get up and wash my hands, she was gone. The deadbolt was still locked and her car wasn't in the driveway. I called to see where she was and she told me she was just pulling into work. Now today, if I ask her about it, she doesn't recall ever telling me about it. What happened that day? Honestly, I have no answer as to what could have possibly happened that day, but it all sounds very weird and unsettling, to say the least." In our number 4 spot today, we have The Past Life. This is a story about a feeling someone has had for most of their life, and that is the feeling that they had previously lived another life in which they were a father, despite them only being a kid at the time of beginning to have this feeling. They say, quote, "I remember being around 40 years old with a wife and 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl, and then one day I just woke up as a child and my past was all just a big blur with random memories that would come to me here or there. It made no sense. My parents said that I used to tell stories about when I was a dad, and they would just laugh it off and be like, 'Oh, that's just your imagination.' But deep down, I genuinely did have these strange memories of a past life." They then go on to talk about how a trip to Disney World with their family left them even more confused, as they had memories of their other family and them at Disney World, despite them being only 4 years old at the time. They could remember where things were, where certain rides were, and they were able to show their family how to get around. In the end, they wrote, quote, "After a while, I stopped telling these stories of when I was a dad because my siblings would always make fun of me for it. Eventually, I just started going on with my life and haven't thought much about it since then. Although I wish I did, because the memories back then were so much more vivid and real than they are now." Does anybody have any similar stories? Does this ring any bells for anyone? I know this might sound stupid, but I genuinely am just interested if anyone else has experienced something like this. I don't know. I don't think it sounds stupid. I just wonder what it could all possibly mean. In our number 3 spot today, we have The Inventors. Okay, this story is about a disappearance that is said to have happened under some extremely suspicious circumstances.
Hey bro, ready to go back home? Your parents is gonna be here at your place any minute. School's out. Yeah, I'm fucking ready. Let's go back home. Push play.
Basically, an inventor named William Cantello was working on a new invention that was said to
Have
be
a
a
joint.
rapid-firing machine gun. One day he was ready to head out and sell the idea, so he told his sons he was going to market to sell it, and
Hey,
he set
son.
off. But
Can we talk
sadly,
to
this was
you?
the last time any...
So, Mom and Dad. Come on. You two, got it. We know you two were in school. The school contact us and yeah. We know you two are skipping school. If you don't want to go to school, you don't have to. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, son. And if you want, you can go to school or not go to school. It's up to you, I guess. Thank you, Mum. And oh yeah, we bought your house just around the corner from us. It's a small house though. What about me? Yeah, we bought your house too. For your own. Fuck yeah. For me? Yeah. Dad, husband, you stay there. Got it. This is your house here. And your house is down that way. I'll show you it now. Good luck, son. Thanks, Mum. Let's look around. Close my door. Lounge room, kitchen, din table. What's out here? Backyard. Nice. Then the bedroom. Nice. TV here. Fuck yeah, cunt. Let's go to outside. Sit down here, yo. Have a joint.
She started experiencing bad luck herself. Her garage roof started leaking, but roofers couldn't find the source of the leak. And when the painting was moved, the leak stopped. On top of that, things would break on their own, and she would hear weird, ghostly noises. Coming in at number 5, we have the Weeping Children. The Weeping Children are a collection of paintings created by a man named Giovanni Bragolin. Every painting features a little boy or girl. Else can own the painting except the mansion's owner. If the painting ever leaves the premise, Miss Bell will arise again and haunt those until her painting is returned to its proper location. Coming in at number 9 are the skulls. Josef Hertel was an Austrian anatomist who taught lessons and showed preparations of animals' nervous systems, their kidneys, their skeletons, and most importantly, their skulls. Now, he grew a huge fascination with the meaning behind skulls when his brother gave him the skull
Let's pause the gas. Head to bed. Wake up in the morning. Wag school cunt. 7 in the morning. It's another day in the human world. I think my friend is at school. But, yeah, who cares? I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do now. Arcadia City. Not Arcadia City, I live... Where do I live in? Whitewind. Okay, so I live in Whitewind City. Whitewind City. Cool. It's still here. Why not, can't? Press play.
To Mozart, and I'm not weird or anything, but I'd also want to see Mozart's skull. Is it just me? He's a genius, I'd want to see it. Joseph started collecting skulls and grew a collection of about 139, and he did it to disprove the teachings of phrenologists who claimed cranial features could be used as evidence of intelligence and personality, and that skulls differed based on what race you were. I don't know what to say to that. Now, Joseph was like, that sounds like a whole load of bull, so he collected a bunch of Caucasian skulls from Europe to show they're all different despite them all being the same race. The collection is located in the Mutant Museum in Philadelphia, and each skull is mounted on a stand with that person's age, cause of death, etc. And honestly, it's freaky, I'm not gonna lie. Just imagine 100 plus skulls all lined up next to each other. It looks like a trophy case for a serial killer, one that I'm not interested in, quite frankly. At number 8, we have Cupboard 55. Now, unless you're an avid museum goer like I am, you may not know about the hidden cabinets. The hidden secret sex cabinets, that is. These cabinets are usually tucked away behind curtains, shutters, etc., and are only open for a certain group of people. They contain risque art that apparently no one wanted seen even now. An example of this is Cupboard 55, located in the Secretariat British Museum in London. The cabinets of obscene objects was created in 1865 and houses everything that was frankly way too saucy for the general public. Dr. Alfred Witt presented the collection to the museum as what he called the symbols of the early worship of mankind, which is just a really fancy way of saying he collected a lot of dicks. He collected every representation of the phallus in every place he traveled. I'm talking Egyptian dicks, Roman dicks, medieval dicks, dicks with eyes, with wings, wax dicks, lamps that are dicks. You get the picture. A lot of dicks. Now, he didn't do this to create the sex appeal next erotic fiction. He did it to show how different cultures around the world viewed sex and what their attitude towards it was. Okay, there's even a giant stone phallus wrapped in flannel that people thought was a pillow used by an aesthetic monk.
Pause it. Head to bed. Wake up in the morning. Another day in the human realm. Hey bears, don't mind me. If you attack me, I'm your god. I'm one of the gods anyway. I'm the god's son. So if you attack me, you'll be fucked. So do what I say and you'll be okay. Where's my place? I think my place is down. That's not my place. How can I get lost? Shit. How can I get fucking lost, dude? Movie cow. Is it this way? No, it's not. How can I get... Oh, hey stray cat. Bye stray cat. Am I going in circles or... Yeah, it must be. Ah. Here we are. Close it. Seven in the morning. Another day in the human city. In the human realm. press play.
When evidently it wasn't. Now this one isn't scary per se.
How we
I
done
just
for
thought it was a
day?
weird one, so I was like, let's pop it on there. Filling our number 7 slot is the Medicine Man. Now the Medicine Man exhibit is part of the Welcome Collection, which is essentially a free museum and library located in London. The purpose of the collection was to show how people viewed things like health, birth, sex, and death over the centuries, and the pieces are interesting to say the least. There's a waxwork of Queen Elizabeth I's face, and half of it is her face, and the other is a decaying skull being eaten by insects. And that kind of just reminds me of the stuff I'd have to draw when I did art during like year 10 and 11, just decaying shit and flowers. Another display is a bunch of terracotta replicas of feet and hands and ears and various other body parts that Romans used to leave in temples and shrines hoping for better health. But the creepiest one for sure for me is Black Madonna, which is a 12th century statue of the Virgin of Guadalupe. The painting is gorgeous, I have to say, but her face is just black, like pitch black. You can barely see the outline of any facial features, which initially made me think it was just like a faceless woman wearing a dress. I mean, she has no eyes either. If I could see her eyes, I'd be like, oh, okay, all well and good. But where are they at though? Now at number 6 are Unseen Forces. Now this is one of the collections of